Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video for modern dating here. Please comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I got Chow Time 2.0. If you guys can subscribe to that, I'd really appreciate that. Look at that. Chow. It's Chow Time.
I told him everything. His reaction was immediate. He looked mortified. He didn't even say anything. Just packed his stuff and left. I begged him to stay. I was crying, apologizing, trying to explain, but he wouldn't listen.
Right.
He said he needed to cool down and walked out. Now he's planning to divorce me, and he said there's nothing I can say or do to make him change his mind. If I knew he was lying, I wouldn't have cheated in the first place.
Her husband.
What? You wouldn't have cheated if he... What?
Used a strategy to get the truth in case she ever decided to cheat, but she misunderstood it and thought he gave her a free pass. Now the marriage is gone.
Listen to this story. I'll give my thoughts in a part.
I'll read it. It says, my husband is manipulating, emotionally abusing me.
Two.
I don't know how else to say this, but my husband is manipulating and emotionally abusing me.
Oh man. Tell me about it. Whatever you're comfortable talking about. Yeah, I don't want you to. Just tell me as much as you feel comfortable telling me.
Okay, so let me just start from the beginning. When my husband and I first started dating, we had this deep conversation about cheating. He told me, clear as day, if this ever happens, I need to know straight away. If you tell me and it only happens once, I think I could forgive you.
He says, I think. He didn't say he would for sure forgive you.
And honestly, that stuck with me. It made me feel like, okay, if I ever screwed up, at least being honest would matter to him more. Fast forward 5 years and...
Loyalty matters more.
We're married now. A couple weeks ago, there was this company party, and I don't even know how to say this, but I made a huge mistake. I slept with a coworker. I know. It's awful. It was
You're not making it sound all that awful, are you?
a moment of weakness, and I've hated myself every second since it happened. That conversation we had all those years ago, it kept playing in my head. I thought, if I just told him, at least I'd have a chance to fix things, you know? So, a couple of nights ago, I brought it up. I asked him if he remembered those conversations we had about cheating.
Imagine, like your girl coming up to you, babe, you remember that time you said if I cheated and I told you you'd probably be okay with it? Remember that? Remember all that you said?
At first, he was like, which one?
Starting by asking him if he remembers the conversation they had about cheating 5 years ago is not a good intro.
No.
He already knew what was about to come.
Because we had a lot of talks like that early on. So I reminded him about how he said he would forgive me if it only happened once, if I was honest. And then I told him everything. His reaction was immediate. He looked mortified.
Why would it be immediate? You think he's just gonna sit there and be like, first time, right? It's okay. It's okay. First time.
He didn't even say anything. Just packed his stuff and left. I begged him to stay. I was crying, apologizing, trying to explain, but he wouldn't listen.
Right.
He said he needed to cool down and walked out.
His reaction is understandable. That would have shocked anyone.
The next day, we finally talked, and I tried to remind him of that conversation, thinking maybe it would...
Try to remind him of the conversation. You think he really cares about the 5 years ago? He said he might be okay with you cheating if you told him. He said he might, did he not?
Help him maybe understand why I confessed. And do you know what he did? He laughed. He was just there on the other end of the phone laughing. Then he told me that he never meant any of it. That he only said he'd forgive me back then to make sure I'd confess if I ever cheated. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I know what I did was wrong. I'm not denying that for a second, but to hear him say he lied to me, that all this time he never actually meant to forgive me, it felt like,
The entitlement of these women, man. Oh my
I don't know,
geez.
like I'd been set up.
Oh yeah, you were set up to go cheat, to thinking that you're gonna be okay cheating, and then he left you. That was the setup that you're talking about. That you used yourself. That you wanted to cheat. You wanted to be the evil one that cheat in a relationship. But yet he's the evil one because he lied to you. That he might have been okay with this.
Now he's planning to divorce me, and he said there's nothing I can say or do to make him change his mind. And I get it. I broke his trust. But at the same time, it feels like he broke mine too. I believed we had this understanding, you know? And
Yeah, he also believed you had an understanding when you were married that you wouldn't be cheating on each other. You'd be faithful in, sickness and in health and all that junk.
maybe if I knew he was lying, I wouldn't have cheated in the first place.
He is actually genius.
At first, I couldn't understand what that part was at the beginning. Like, now I get it. You're such a stupid idiot.
Good play. If I knew he was lying, I wouldn't have cheated. Wow. She absolutely used that conversation as a pass. She held onto it like it was a getaway free card.
Yep.
Having to start with that convo and continually use it. I'm confused. Why is she mad? The amount of audacity that resides in some people is astounding.
Right?
So she used the conversation they had about cheating as a backup to support her decision, and she expected him to keep his word.
Like, in my head, was she thinking about this the whole 5 years and was just like waiting to use it whenever she could? Or did she cheat and then she thought about it and remembered it? Oh, she said this 5 years ago. Either way, it's pretty stupid, but I'm like, the way she made it seem like that she was thinking about it all 5 years. Like, oh, he said it was okay. He said it's okay. Would this be the year? Will this be the year I cheat on him and use that it's okay card?
She didn't know he just used that strategy to get the truth in case she decided to do it. His plan to deal with this situation was not the best, but we have to agree that it worked for him.
It did.
It turned out to be a king's move.
I don't know how else to say this, but my husband is manipulating and emotionally abusing me.
I am still confused. How
Right.
did she reach to that conclusion? She was the one who decided to jump into that adventure, and now he is not acting right. She is using that strategy to cover her actions, but this is not how things work. That was a good attempt to change the main focus of this story, but in the end, it was in vain. After listening to the introduction of that conversation, anyone would rapidly jump to her side. That strategy can work, and many have already used it to get sympathy,
Yep.
but her case is different. Anyone who had the time to listen to the full call.
This is why every time you hear about abuse, emotional abuse, and all of this junk, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, especially coming out of a woman's mouth. You can't even believe any of it.
Would understand that he didn't do the things she mentioned.
I get it. I broke his trust. But at the same time, it feels like he broke mine too. I believed we had this understanding, you know?
It was interesting that somehow she still found a gap to place herself as a victim. That was impressive. And if you carefully listen to how she started the conversation, you will assume that he actually did something wrong. This is the reason we should always get the full picture of any case before coming to its conclusion.
If I knew he was lying, I wouldn't have cheated in the first place.
That was an interesting statement.
Dumbest statement I've ever
So
heard.
she did it because she was certain that he wouldn't leave her in case it happened.
Exactly.
Basically, she felt like she had a free pass, therefore it wouldn't be an issue if she decided to jump into that adventure, but that wasn't the plan. Cheating just because you think your partner will give you a pass is wild.
The guy in the white finds his wife on a date after saying she was going out with the girls.
As if dinner couldn't get any better, the guy in the white tee finds his wife on a date after saying she was out with the girls.
What's it about? This is my wife. She's out to dinner with you, telling me lies about what she is. Yeah, you may be sorry, but you're telling me lies.
You know, people are so nosy. And this is probably some random person at another table, just like.
What is it? What's your question? What have you got to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself? Explain yourself. Say again?
Yeah, this person.
Oh, really? Okay. Who else? Why are you here then? Why are you telling me kids lies? Why are you telling me lies about where you're at? Explain yourself.
Dude, if I was the other guy in the white shirt with the t-shirt, or this guy, I'd probably just get up and walk away. Like, at this point, she's for the streets. Why are you still sitting there the whole time, bro? Unless you guys are about to tag team and jump on her, like, you guys about to destroy her, her reputation kind of thing right now.
Notice the other guy asking whether he can leave? To be honest, both of them should have been gone a long ago. I would have paid, apologized to the husband, and left. Why is he addressing the guy instead of her? He handled himself well under the circumstances. He really cared for her. She doesn't look bothered.
She didn't.
Why is other dude staying there? She doesn't care, bro. Just leave.
Agreed.
This is so confusing. If she no longer wants to be with her current partner, she should have told him. That would be the best thing to do, as it would prevent future drama, just like what's happening in that restaurant. Imagine receiving the news that your partner is having dinner with another person when...
This is also why you don't do drama in public. You never know who the hell's recording you. Like, look at this person just sitting there, eating their dinner, enjoying their dessert, and, getting a show and a movie out of this.
She told you she was going on a
And they
girls'
post
night.
this on the internet for money.
That wouldn't be a good feeling, and this is something that could have been avoided if she had been honest from the start. At least it would have given him the opportunity to decide whether he still wanted to be part of that relationship. This type of situation will always affect their union on a deeper level. Even if they decide to work things out, his trust level won't be the same. He will have many thoughts the next time she tells him that she is going out with friends, and this is what she didn't consider when decided to be dishonest about her whereabouts. If she were trying to jibble both of them, this event would change the dynamic of everything. This scene will eventually make them question whether she is someone they will be able to trust, so it will somehow affect their perception of her. Also, it seems like she wasn't bothered that he found her having dinner with another person.
Nope.
Maybe she no longer cares, and if that is the case, this is the sign he needed to move on, as it doesn't make sense to try to work things out where the other person is already interested on someone else.
Most women, it's not sex that we're looking for when we cheat. It's an emotional connection. It's always like something like emotionally like that you're not receiving from a man. It's just the 80-20. He might be doing 80% of everything you need him to do. That 20%, it can be sex, whatever the case may be. But even if it's sex, you're not looking really necessarily just for somebody to have sex with. You're looking for someone to build an emotional connection with so that you can have good sex with them and then go from there.
And you make that move and then you take that next step and now you have an emotional connection with somebody else. You have sex and now you really like this other guy, but you're in a relationship.
And it's not smart.
Sorry, babe. I think we should break up. How about just leave?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Nobody is perfect, so there is no 100%. It's about character and integrity. Since emotional connection is lacking to the point where you feel the need to cheat, why don't you just leave? That would be a better option, as it wouldn't cause any drama, and nobody would be affected by the process.
And that monkey branching and then the having it your cake and eat it too. That's women's MO.
At least not on the cheating level, which is worse. It's better to have the conversation and give each other the opportunity to find someone else than not being told the truth and being cheated on. Her statements explain the other reason most guys prefer to end the relationship after it happens, as they are well aware that it wasn't just a physical thing, feeling was involved. So at that point it no longer makes sense. I just don't understand what's the point of keeping the person you no longer feel emotionally connected to.
The biggest telling sign to find out if your man is cheating on you or not, and I only know this from personal experience like way back in the day, and I didn't realize it until now that this was like a major red flag. If he starts accusing you of doing some shady shit, if he starts out of the blue questioning you, just being on your ass more, and being suspicious of your activity, and starts accusing you of things that you obviously didn't do, that is literally his way of telling you, hey, I'm doing this shady shit, I cheated on you, and I am worried that you are doing the same thing.
No, I guess somewhat agree with this projection thing, that when the person's doing bad, they automatically assume the other person is also doing bad, so they have to protect themselves from the other person doing bad, even though they're doing bad. Yeah.
It is his subconscious being so paranoid because he did it, that now he's paranoid that you're doing the same thing.
But it could also be just you giving him signs, and he's been red-pilled enough to see all the signs and just like,
So if your man starts acting sus and starts accusing you of cheating, odds are that he has already done it and is currently doing that.
I accuse my husband all the time, but I'm not cheating. So true, he kept reminding me not to cheat on him. Is it the same when the woman cheats? I agree from experience, but also I would accuse him, but I would never cheat. That's not always the case. Sometimes the relationship gets to this point because things have happened, and that behavior was caused by those events. Most guys won't bring that subject to the table just to cover what they are doing. They had enough reasons to believe that something was going on.
Welcome to our self-development section. Today we're going to talk about the choices you are making daily, which are keeping you where you don't want to be. You will understand that the main reason you are not living your dream life is because your current habits are feeding the lifestyle you currently have.
True.
It's really simple, but I will say that again. The only reason why you're not living the life that you actually want to live is because you, day by day, keep on feeding the life that you don't want to live.
Whether you agree with what she said or not, she is completely right. Your daily routine will determine your future. If you are honest with yourself, you will realize that whatever you are currently doing is to maintain your current life. You are directly or indirectly feeding it. And that's why it's everything you currently have. If you want to see changes, you will have to do things differently. That's going to be the only way you will be able to experience a different lifestyle.
100%. We see all our friends, all the people around us complain about things, but they don't do anything different. They do the exact same things, and they complain about the exact same things every day. This is the problem that a lot of us have. Not even just you, me. I've had this problem before too. Not onto a big scale or anything, but it's much better to build yourself with great habits. With great habits comes a great person.
This is simple. You will have to start transferring your energy and effort to the life you actually want to live, and you will have to redirect your attention to things that will lead you to your desired destination. If you look at those around you, most are doing the same thing. Most are choosing to feed the life they don't want, but at the same time, they are complaining about it.
Yep.
You need to start slow, make the small change now. And before you know it, things have changed, and as a result, you will live the life you want, but it will not happen unless you do what is required. This is a simple process, but it must be done. I will give you a quick example of things you can do so you understand what this is about. Instead of waking up on your regular time, do it an hour earlier. That extra hour will be used to work on things that will lead you to the life you want to live. Also, once you come home from work, those hours you have until you go to bed, don't use them to watch TV or scroll on social media. Instead, use them to push you closer to your dream life.
Damn right.
The full weekend you spend social...
I know it feels like you're working all the time when you're working on your dreams, because you have to work a normal job. And every time you're out of your normal job, you got to do all that extra things to try to make it out of that normal job. I understand, guys. It takes maybe 3 to 4 years of this sacrifice, and I'm almost positive you will get somewhere.
You need to use some hours of it to work on your dream. You need to understand that as long as you keep doing the same thing, you will always have the same result. So if you want to have different experiences, you must make changes, and the time to act on it is now.
You know, women always love to justify when they cheat, but when men cheat, we're just dogs, right? She cheated, but she thought, oh, he gave me a free pass. He was going to forgive me if I did ever cheat. So I thought I might cheat at least once to see if that was the truth or not. You figured it out. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. I could just check